See, I haven't got it. But no video calls. Will you send us it? I'm being them.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the full council meeting for Barnoldswick Town Council on Wednesday the 10th of September. Just before we go through tonight's agenda item, we have got an urgent item to add at the end of tonight's agenda, which we will take. Apologies for absence.
Leanne Barrett, Amanda Bowman, Angela Moran, Dave Reeves.
Declarations of interest, to disclose any peculiar interest. Are there any? No? Excellent. Item 3 is an open forum. Is to receive for a maximum of 15 minutes questions from members of the public on issues which do not appear on the agenda, with the exception of the urgent one. Nothing else, Joe? No? No? Good. Minutes of the last meeting, if we can approve and second those, please. Move them. Move. Second. Thank you. Item 5, committee working groups, so general purposes, 13th of August 2025.
Can I move those, Chairman? Just refer to the beach, which has finished after this meeting was held and today's date. Hugely successful event, which I think went on for longer than any of the previous events that we've done. And I mean, it was blessed mostly by lovely warm weather, hot weather, and enjoyed by many thousands of people, hundreds of families, both from Barnoldswick and further afield. And I don't know, I've heard nothing but praise for it, so I'd just like to thank Joe, Sam, and everybody that helped make it such a success.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone else in Barnoldswick Town Council would call that. Thanks, Joe.
Sam.
Sam.
The only other thing I want to draw people's attention to, the Barnoldswick clock on Albert Road, which is number 17 there. Joe has been in touch with the clock repairer, and you'll recall the 3 years or so that it took to sort out the clocks on the bus shelter over here. And it's a bit busy at the moment, but he says he'll be here in October. He didn't say which year.
It's told me October, June this year.
Yeah, we await with interest.
David, do you need to do something in this one?
Oh, we can do, yeah, pick that one up. So, just referring to the events programme, Joe, do you want to report the requests that we've had?
Yeah, we made a decision not to have any events in December, just to take some pressure off Sam and the office. However, the Santa Footman have applied for a road closure for their event, and it's been turned down on the fact that nobody has the qualification needed to implement a road closure. So the ask is that we do it.
Councillor David Whip.
Thank you, Chairman. There's a limited number of people from the Town Council who can be responsible for a road closure. Joe, Sam and I have done the training. I'm not sure if there's anybody else. No. So, to fall to one of us. The closure in the town centre, would be relatively straightforward, something that we're used to doing. However, the traffic management for the Santa Fun Run also encompasses all the route and the way in which people cross roads and things like that. And I think that it would be very onerous indeed for the Town Council to become responsible to that extent for the the route and everything involved. And although the organiser of the Santa Fun run might say, oh well, I'll do all of that, the responsibility would still lie with us. So I don't think it's something that we should agree to. And whether the organiser can get the required certification, between now and then, that's a possibility. And the alternative is to get a traffic management company to do the work on the organiser's behalf. So I think, with regret, that we turn around and say, sorry, but we can't say to that request.
Laura?
Thanks, Chair. We could suggest that they apply for grant from us to go towards the cost of.
Redistributed, I think our rules allow us to give money to someone who's then giving it away. Does that make sense?
It'd go towards the cost of putting on the music.
I think in the past the grant's been turned down, but it's because the money doesn't necessarily stay here. Then it's like it's speculation. I just remember a meeting maybe 4 years ago where we all turned it down. I'll write it down.
Jodie?
What about putting them onto the same thing that you've done your traffic management courses? Or the members of so that they can get someone on their team to do the traffic management course?
Yeah, I mean, I'm you know, like anyone else, I'm kind of inclined to agree with what David was saying, that it's a big undertaking, isn't it, for us? It's almost like us taking over the event, isn't it?
It's more a case of giving them some information.
Yeah. What sort of time scales was the training courses? Can you remember?
How long was the actual course, Shelton? Do you mean how long did the training take, or do you mean how long
Yeah, how long was the training take?
It was a day, wasn't
Is
it?
that all it is? What's the date for the fun run?
December 14th or 15th.
A bit of time for them to react. There's a bit of time for them to react and to try and get on the course. I guess it's about availability.
We went to Colin to get ours because all the towns wanted it at once.
I mean, I don't know what anyone else thinks, but it's a difficult one for us to take on, especially given that it's not just the undertaking of that event, it's the fact that we wanted a bit of a spare gap in the calendar to give ourselves a break. I don't know what we propose. Get back to them, see if there's a chance that they can give them the information for the training and see if they can contact someone to get on it.
Chair, I mean, I propose that we don't accede to their request, and we can draw their attention, to getting qualifications themselves, or employing a company. And I think, we draw the line at that.
Anybody to second that? Yeah. All those in favour? Chris?
Would there be a cost to their getting training? Could we support them on that?
It's kind of like what Laura said, isn't it?
I know it well.
By grant, but
That would be a grant for them to hire in
Rather than to actually.
an agency rather than to learn to do it themselves. I think that's different enough.
Chair, I mean, the event is supposed to be raising money. If you've got any costs associated with the event, they come off your income and record a net amount. And it seems straightforward to me that that this is part and parcel of putting the event on. Now, in recent years we've had an event that we've held coterminously, and that's obviated quite a lot of the costs that the organisers just think it's up to them to sort themselves out. I'm not being too hard-hearted here, but you know, if they're raising money from the event and there's a cost of running the event, it comes off what it is. You know, I mean, if they're raising money for Bosom Friends, which I'm assuming is the case, you know, it might be Bosom Friends want to approach us for something else. So I think we should give the money directly to the organisation that's doing whatever they're doing, not giving it to a third party for them to then give it to somebody else.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. So we've got a proposal, it's been seconded, so all those in favour? Yeah, unanimous. Thank you. Anything else on the working group reports? No? Excellent. Okay, so item 6, confirm approval of payments made by the town clerk since the last meeting of the council to delegate consent for payments to be made prior to the next meeting of the council. Happy with that? Is there anything on there that you want to discuss? Happy? Yeah. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 7, councillor email addresses.
Karen Westwith.
I had a conversation with the North Yorkshire County Council about it today.
You shouldn't be using personal emails because if someone asks for freedom of information, technically, if you've been corresponding, they can look through all your emails. So just for an update, Craven Digital is no longer being run by Sean Nixon, retired, and it's gone to a new company. So I've asked them for some information, but because of what happened last week, I haven't gone back to them with like details. I don't actually have any indication of how much it will be, but I think we need them.
To be fair, that is what the directive's going to be. If that's what they're saying, it's coming down from the that all parish and town councils should have a separate email and possibly encrypted.
There we go.
Chair, we do have a data controller in the form of Councillor Barnoldswick.
True. I mean, would people use it if they would? Yeah, if not, a lot of us have, you know, emails from other council duties and Pendle.
Do we leave anyone who's got a borough or a county one, use that one, and anyone who doesn't have that facility open to them, then we open the town council one?
What was the one that got set up ages ago?
Team campaign.
Never used it.
Where's that? Would you see them? That's who they were.
Just even.
Yeah, it will track him. Do you want to set him up?
Any other thoughts? I'm for it. I have mentioned it to you before, haven't I? Rather than wait until tomorrow for tonight's meeting minutes to come through post, I'd much sooner come on an email so that they're
Incredible, because our rules say that they'll still go about and paper form.
yeah, it just gives us that heads up though, doesn't it? Via email.
Yeah.
And at some point, we all common sense will prevail and we might not have to destroy trees forever.
It's something that we're going to bring in anyway, we might as well do it now.
Yeah. So anyone who's got a borough council one, do you want another one? No? Right.
I might as well just use it. It pings around how anybody else is set up, but I've got sort of council one, the work one, and it pings like a normal email. I just put it in a different folder. It's quite easy.
Do you want more then?
I'm happy to try both if you want. Just see if it works. It doesn't matter that way around.
Make will have to.
I mean, if there's a cost to it, I'll want it, but
I think the challenge is so much in it.
is that what it is?
Yeah. It's fine. That's what it is, isn't it?
So, I guess what we're proposing is for Joe to explore it further and see where we sit with it
Yeah.
in terms of costs, etc., and then report back to a further meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy with that. Want to start tonight, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favour, yes?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Item 8, the ramp at the Civic Hall.
I just need permission to spend the money. Anyone's walked through the car park recently, they'll realise it's very rusty. So quotes have come in from anything from £2,600 to £7,000. I just need permission to spend the money.
Councillor David Wick.
Chair, the metal work on the ramp, as Joe said, is corroded. It isn't actually a structural component that is holding the ramp up, but it is holding the railings up, and so it does need to be sound, and I think it's getting to the state that it isn't sound, so I'd like to suggest that we do authorise Joe to get the work ordered. I think the prices that Joe's got, there was sort of like a Rolls Royce price from one or two companies, and then there's a less elaborate. Pardon?
A town council price.
Yeah, there's two prices that are lower for a reduced specification, but still adequate for the job. So I suggest that we accept the lowest tender for the reduced specification.
Excellent. Have we got somebody to second that? Yeah, all those in favour? Thank you very much. So, item 8A is the urgent item. Councillor David Wick.
Thank you, Chair. It's come to my attention today that there are continuing problems at the beginning of the new school year for pupils journeying to Skipton. I'm told that pupils weren't able to get on the bus because there wasn't space, and that at least the comment today was that there was only single decker, there weren't double deckers, and so on and so on and so forth. So it looks like a rerun of previous years where the number of buses or the spaces on buses isn't adequate, and I'd like the Town Council to raise this with Transdev, because it's the M6, it's a Transdev service as a matter of urgency, to see whether we can get a decent service in place again.
Sorry?
I actually use these buses, so I'll give you a good report on it. This morning there was 2 double deckers.
Oh, right.
I was on the single double decker, which was the second bus that arrived, but it should have been the third one. So there were about 80 kids on this bus because they all piled on it thinking there were no else coming. Now I have an app that tells me when buses are coming. So why don't these kids or the parents have the same app? Why don't they know that one's a double decker, one's a single decker, one's a double decker, and they won't get there in time for school? It is tonight coming home, the worst time is actually when coming home from school. I came home from work early and it was like a zoo in Skipton bus station. The kids don't wait for elderly people to get off or on the bus. They push them out of the way physically. When they're at the bus station, they run at the bus before anybody even gets off it. Whoever's on the bus has to fight their way through. And when you're talking 40, 50 kids, tonight, when Matthew were telling me, I got on the early bus because I weren't going to keep all along the road tracks, that were already 20 minutes late. when I got on my bus, Matthew was saying they got on theirs and you just turned the ticket machine off. So it weren't recording how many people were getting on it. And they just rammed it full. It's like a zoo. And they're quite happy to just ram as many people on as possible, regardless of safety.
Which is not ideal.
It's not only not ideal, it's horrendous. Like I say, it's bad enough for kids' behaviour in the bus station towards other customers, but then you have the fact that the bus drivers don't care how many people are actually on the bus. And a lot of them won't actually tell the kids to move right to the back of the bus if they're standing up. You'll get like 20 kids packed into where what disabled seating is. We did have one this morning that asked them to move back, but I think that's the first time I've heard that in about 3 years. So
is the Barnoldswick talk thing about going to school, or is it about coming
Going,
home?
wasn't it, this morning?
Going.
going, I don't think they're aware how many buses there actually are.
So they're
And they
ringing
have been
parents
sending
before the
two
next
double
bus comes.
deckers. But all the kids try and pile on the first bus, and then when they can't get on the first bus, they wait for the second bus, which is generally a single decker or a double decker. Really, to be fair, it is oversubscribed, they need to do it better, but it's only the same as if you were in a city where people have to stand up holding on. The problem is the amount of kids that don't just wait for the next bus. They're all trying to get on the first bus that arrives, but there's 2 more within 10 minutes of the first bus. Well, within 15 minutes of the first bus. There's one at 8 o'clock, there's one at 8 minutes past 8, which is the one I normally get, and there's one at about 13 minutes past 8. And this morning, 13 minutes past 8 one came before the 8 minutes past, and the 8 minutes past was a double decker.
Is it full?
I don't know what was going on with that bus because I weren't on it. Had I thought about it, I'd waited for other bus, but I didn't look and then realised I wasn't getting on the normal bus that I would, and that's the one that comes all the way from Bern, so it's already full, is the third bus. So it's the second bus that's supposed to, it's confusing because it comes,
There's loads of buses.
it only starts from Colne.
First and second buses.
The 8 minute past bus only starts from Colne. So it only picks up people pretty much from Colne onwards. Whereas the other 2 buses both come from Burnley, so they come all the way through. And it's technically for all the stuff for kids is that one, but a lot of the kids don't use it. They try and get on the first bus.
David, tomorrow go and stand at bus stop and see what bus arrived, what time should have arrived, and how many kids get on.
And I'll tell you what, I'll get on the last bus tomorrow and I'll tell you what the situation
Okay.
is.
Well, I'm off to Preston tomorrow morning, so I won't be stood at the bus stop.
I'll just get on the last bus and I'll tell you. I do every morning.
I still think there's a serious issue here. If
Oh, it's never
bus
been
drivers
safe.
are just putting kids on with no tickets, they're basically riding that bus with no insurance.
Yeah,
If that's involved in an accident, there'll be nothing coming their way at all,
no,
because they'll be classed as a non-paying, non-fair rider. So
yeah.
even though the ticket guy's turned it off, he'll just say, I haven't, or whatever. But
Yeah.
that's worrying, isn't it?
To be fair, it's the clueless. It's not a good company. I'm forced to use it, unfortunately.
Sorry, Chair. So I can just get a better understanding of coming back. So how many buses are there on the return journey?
There should be one at 10 to 4 that picks up in the middle of Skipton and then goes up past the school.
Yeah.
There should be another one at about 27 minutes past 4 that picks up and goes up past the schools. I will inform you that generally the 27 minute past doesn't turn up. And the first bus is usually a single decker.
Right.
Which means definitely coming back there's not enough at all.
So Chairman, are the 3 buses at the time that the school's finished, or coming, So you said 350 and 427.
Yeah, there's 350, 427, and then the next one's 515,
Okay.
which usually is for the kids as well. But at 410, all the people shopping in Civic try and get on as well.
Yeah.
So it's, they're not actually catering, they're either not catering specifically for children, or they're not catering for the normal passengers and workers.
You'd just think by default the 1541, given it's closest to kids coming out of school time, would be the double decker.
Yeah. And it has been on and off in the past, but it is on and off, it's never guaranteed. And invariably the second bus in the morning, sometimes the council might want to be bothered. Oh, sometimes the council they'll have to too, and that's how you end up in bus crashes.
Chairman, in the light of this detailed expert knowledge, I don't know, we just need to reframe I think if the Town Council could express concern about the thing, I mean, whether there is under capacity, I'm not sure that we know really. We don't have any,
They're not, shall we say, making the appropriate buses accessible, and they're not sort of saying, right, that's going to be a double decker and that's going to be a double decker and that will be the same every day without fail. They're just sending whatever. Rather than actually thinking these are needed, two of those buses in the morning need to be double deckers and two in an evening need to be double deckers.
Yeah, I know one of the comments today on the Facebook post was that there's been a larger intake of children going to Skipton this year from here
Again,
than
yeah.
what there has been in previous years. So.
I've been fighting this for years. I've been left stood by the side of the road and all sorts. My loss of earnings are probably out of this world because of stuff that they've done. One of the reasons we're going to go to town so I can get bus. Otherwise they'll just leave us there.
We've still not solved the problems, have we? We still need to...
They need telling that they need to use double decker buses, basically, for at least two of the journeys either way.
Yep, happy with that. We've got a seconder then to propose that.
I'll propose it.
All those in favour? No, we should do that.
Thank you.
Item 9, correspondence items for information only. A note to note another report from the chairman and the clerk of the council on items, information and correspondence received. Anything else, Catherine?
No.
Is there any of our wonderful listeners who got anything to... No? Wonderful. In that case then, thank you very much for coming. Hope it will worthwhile, Cal.